A lot of us have moments of feeling that life is overwhelmingly difficult. Sometimes we feel nothing will change for the better. We don't have a feeling of true sweetness or love. Happiness is something we can't grasp or even remember. For the fortunate ones, this feeling lasts for a day or two and then it lifts. For some people, it just keeps going. And the voices inside that talk to you about how worthless or lame you are become more voracious as they chew up on your spirit. And they talk to you about how people are looking at you and how badly you do everything and what a mess you are and what a disappointment. There's no hope, no spark. There's just a deep pit, and it's hard to get out of it. Lots of people suggest what you should try to get out of it. They say exercise is really good for depression, and that's true. But when you're depressed, they say go to therapy, change the way you think, and some people can do that. Some people keep functioning pretty well with their families and their jobs while they're feeling the depression, and some people just really grind to a halt. Depression hurts mentally and physically. Your body can ache. There are lots of times when you think you might really be dying, and yet what's wrong with you is that your soul is in pain. Some people start sleeping all the time. Some people eat everything in sight. Some people can't sleep anymore, and they can't swallow because there's a big lump right here, or they just don't care. They eat Pop-Tarts for every meal because everything else is just... Sometimes on some people, depression looks like a long, angry spell. And for other people, it looks like sorrow. For some people, it looks like collecting things you don't need. Most people don't know that hoarding is a kind of depression. Some people hoard stuff, and some people hoard animals. So that neighbor of yours with 75 cats should be on some medication. Depression is not sadness, although sadness is an element in depression. When you're sad, you're grieving the loss of someone you loved, or a part of your life that you are going to miss, or a dream that is not going to take place, or you're sad about something. You cry, you mourn, you feel awful, and that is healthy and appropriate. And some people feel that if you're mentally healthy enough, or if you meditate enough, or whatever, then you should be able to go through any event in your life with your head held high and your thoughts in good order and feeling fine. And really what I want to say to you is that it is insane. Because when terrible things happen, we feel bad, and that's appropriate. Sometimes that's appropriate. Depression isn't anger, although feelings of anger and resentment can be present in depression. Anger is meant to alert us to a situation that is harmful to us. And some people say depression is anger turned inward, and that you should express all your anger. And other people say, really, you don't have to express all your anger. And The Dalai Lama, in fact, says anger is just like a cloud floating across the sun, just let it go. And other people say you should beat on a mattress with your tennis racket. And other people say for many people that works, and for other people that makes it worse. And so they don't know. Low self-esteem and feelings of inferiority can be part of depression, although most people feel those things quite a bit of the time, especially when you're, under 35 or so. You feel like really maybe like the new kid at camp, and everybody else got the manual and you didn't get it. And they all know the words to the songs that everybody's singing around the campfire, and you're like faking it. And almost everybody feels that way. And this is a powerful piece of knowledge to have. But you have to raise your right hand and promise to only ever use it for good. Really, I mean it. Thank you. Depression has been around for a long time. The first king of the Jews, King Saul, was said to feel deep melancholy. And the little shepherd boy, David, was called to play his harp, to cheer up the king, and to heal his depression. And sometimes music can heal a mood, and sometimes your body chemistry or the universe uses music to snap you out of it. It's very mysterious what snaps you out of it sometimes. Some people use music, and some people use exercise, and some people use changes in their thinking, and other people find that nature is healing for them, or animal companions are healing. People try all kinds of different things. I mean, from the very ancient days, people have been trying to cure depression, and Hippocrates said that it's cured by a diet of vegetables and abstaining from all excesses. And we don't know if that works because nobody was ever able to do it. Other people say that entertaining stories have been able to cure depression. There was a strain of thought back in the ancient times that if you told really dirty jokes, the person would cheer up. In fact, there was a goddess from whom we get the word body. She was said to do lewd dances and tell dirty jokes, and that would cheer people from their melancholy. And I wouldn't know if that works because I don't know any dirty jokes, so, Exhortation has been tried, saying you are wasting your life and other people are worse off than you are and you should snap out of this, and that doesn't work. Counting your blessings works for some people. I had a friend, I would go into the library where she was a librarian, I'd say, Rita, how you doing? She'd be, I'm down to counting my blessings. I knew it was bad. These days, people try more biomedical cures. There is lots of research coming out about depression. There are many things that can mimic depression: thyroid trouble, food allergies, too much artificial sweetener, which can crash your serotonin, sensitivity to cyclical changes in the light, head injuries, diabetes, heart surgery, hypoglycemia. Lots of things can be coupled with depression. And so a lot of times after a heart surgery, the hospital will set you up with a counselor because it's so common that depression follows that kind of surgery. And if it just hits you out of the blue, if you just have clinical depression, that is so complicated for people because for some reason in our culture we keep treating it as if it were a matter of will or a matter of character. And if you could just get your thinking right, or if you could just exercise enough, then you could cure yourself. And why don't you get on it? And we have that feeling inside ourselves too. And so we feel that I am strong enough to beat this thing by myself. Or I had somebody say, I'm too smart to be depressed. And there are some people who suffer with it as if it were noble to do so. As if it were noble, which you could do that fine if you live by yourself. But it affects everyone around you. While you're being noble, they're being miserable. And so it behooves one to think of depression as an illness, not only as an illness, but as a life-threatening illness, because it kills people. So, doing it by the power of mind alone works just about as well as fighting cancer that way, which is to say, sometimes, but mostly not. Feeling as if you're too intelligent or noble or special to take medicine for depression works just about as much as treating diabetes that way, which is to say, not much. And changes in your thinking combined with medicine seem to work the best. If you take medicine for depression and you take alcohol at the same time, the medicine is not going to work. Alcohol is a depressant. You're working against yourself. If you take medicine and you have been for a long time, you need to be aware that it poops out after 2 or 3 years. Sometimes it doesn't work as well, so you need to change medicines. You're not doing anything wrong. The medicine poops out, and they often forget to tell you. I know that people have a shame reaction to being depressed. I just don't know why. I have a shame reaction to being sick in any way, because in my family I was taught that if you're a really good person, you don't get sick. Have nobody ever said that directly? One time when I had a headache, I was about 6 years old, I was like, Mama, I have a headache. She said, oh, honey, children don't get headaches. Once I said to my dad, oh man, I feel sick. He was like, do you need to go to the hospital? I said, no. He said, well, get up then. So, and I've met other people whose families were like that. However, there shouldn't be shame attached to being sick. Depression as well. Therapists will talk to you about family history of depression. Therapists will talk to you about your anger, how you handle it. Therapists will talk to you about things about which you are sorrowful. They will talk to you about ways that you think. One tiny example might be if you are a person who says to yourself, oh man, I flunked that test. Your therapist might say, what grade did you make? And you'll say, B. This is a thinking problem, that if you make anything less than an A, you've failed. If your relationship doesn't work out, you've failed. If you don't make the top of your profession, you've failed. If you come in number 2 and get a silver medal at the Olympics, you've failed because you didn't get a gold. This is one thinking problem that some people have. Anyway, the therapist will work with you on that. So how do you help? When there's someone around you, someone you love who has depression, how do you help? Number 1, you don't tell them to snap out of it, because they can't. They would if they could, most people. You don't try to cheer them up. You don't go, come on, life is good. Let's go have some fun. Because what you're going to sound to them is like a little chipmunk going in their ear. Really, a lovely thing to do is to have compassion, mean feeling with someone. You don't have to feel the depression with them, but to be present with them is important. Like our story illustrated so beautifully, the bird was so grumpy that he walked. He wasn't depressed, he was just grumpy, but his friends walked with him. You walk with somebody who's feeling depressed. And they say, oh, gosh, life is just so hard. And you go, yeah. That's all. It's not hard, although it is counterintuitive, but it's more healing to be with someone than to cheer them up. Let me finish by talking about suicide. When I say depression is a life-threatening illness, I mean it kills people because it makes them think that their thoughts are real. And when you think life is no good and nothing is ever going to get better, that feels like the real reality to you. And everybody who's happy or cheerful looks stupid. And so one thing I would ask, if you know someone who is suicidal, just to ask them to consider maybe that the suicidal impulse is a helping impulse that is urging you to kill off part of your life, a part of your life. In other words, make a major, major change. You may kill yourself, but first try other things. First try getting on a fishing boat and going to Alaska, or first try just playing dead for a while, because sometimes people say, oh, death would be so restful. Well, then rest, your life won't have you if you're dead, and so you could perhaps just say to everybody, I'm dead, and just move to some place, Montreal or something, for a while and just go be dead there. You might find it boring, being dead. I would say try several big changes. If you are killing yourself because you're a disappointment, then just cheerfully or whatever, just go, yeah, I'm a disappointment, I'm going to embrace it. If you're killing yourself because you've made terrible decisions, just go, yeah, I've made terrible decisions. I'll look forward to my next one. It's like the Aikido of your terrible thoughts. You just yield the space. Yeah, I'm bad. I'm bad. I don't know. Nobody knows what works. If you have the energy, try some other stuff. Life is stubborn. Life comes up through cracks in the cement. Life persists when there's really no good reason to. And if you're having those thoughts, just remember that depression is like the dementors in that they will tell you things and suck the joy out of you, and they will act as if that is reality. And it reminds me of the story that I read when I was studying shamanism, and there was an anthropologist who went down to study with a jaguar shaman in South America. And he took the herbal tea and passed out and had the visions, and he was going through the first level and the second level and the third level under the earth, and he got so traumatized and saw awful things. And the worst thing, he woke up and was telling the jaguar shaman this. He said, I met the people that run everything. I met the gargoyles at the third level who told me that there is no hope and that they control everything and that I should just give up. And the shaman started laughing. He said, oh yeah, those guys, they always say that. But it's friends that get us through, usually, friends and medicine. Let's sing about that. Not the medicine, but the friends.